Hello fellow simmers, this is Dead Code here. This is my first speed build and this is a lot that I'm calling the Family Farmhouse. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath family farmhouse with a small sunroom on the side and a wraparound porch. I have a deck on the back and I did include a basement in the actual build that I'm going to be uploading, but I did not include that in this recording. So this build has a kitchen dining space, an entryway, a master bedroom on the first floor. It has obviously a living room in there and the sunroom. And on the second floor in the hallway, we have this oversized hallway up there that has a small office and a bathroom that's kind of a Jack and Jill bathroom and kind of a sunrise, sunset bedroom. So I really like this build. I took the model off of a blueprint website for houses, and they had pictures. I'm not sure if it's modeled pictures or if it's pictures of a house that was actually built, because they're usually pretty good. But I modeled this after the blueprints and the pictures, and I did my best to try and make it as close as possible. This is kind of more of a modern farmhouse style. I really enjoyed making this, and I also really enjoyed just recording from my first experience. So I'd love to hear feedback with you guys at the end of this speed build. Let me know what you think, etc. This does have custom content, and in the description I will link the humongous list of custom content that I have. I have listed all of the sets of custom content, but the custom content does not use every item from that set, but I wanted to link the whole sets in case people wanted to download the whole sets rather than looking for individual items. I actually felt that the list of links would be much smaller because I used several things from several sets. Sometimes I'd only use one thing, but sometimes it would be 5 or 6 things. So I tried to consolidate the list of links as much as possible. So here I am working on the exterior. I struggled a little bit with the roof on this one because I really kind of wanted to get the porch, the sunroom, and the roof of the actual building itself to align up in a specific way, and I just couldn't get it to do that. And because of the stairs along the side of the porch, I couldn't get a set of 4 table and chairs for that bistro set to work, so I just left the 2 of them here. And I had a challenge with the windows as well because the porch roof kind of goes up where your windows would normally be, and it just was not working for me. I tried to put in a dormer, which is part of the blueprints, but it did not work either. The dormer just kept cutting into the second floor where the bedrooms were going to be, and I just decided to ixnay it. So I did my best to try and match the blueprints, but I ended up changing things over and over again. This is going to be kind of spotty because I'll remember what I'm doing in one room and then I'll see something that I wanted to put in another room and I'll move back and forth. But I will do the best that I can. At the end of this, I have taken some screenshots of it. So there are some images that you guys can take a look at. And you guys can let me know what you think again in the comments. So I changed the roof on the sunroom because I actually realized when I was looking at the blueprints, and this is what I mean by I had a hard time with the roof on the porch with the sunroom and the house. I fiddled with this for probably a good 15 minutes before I gave up. I realized that I had gotten it wrong in my initial build and for the sunroom, and I replaced it. I initially chose green as a color. That's actually what was in the blueprint and the pictures, but I eventually switched it over to blue because one of my favorite modders, Pilar, has a Brazil window that I really liked, and I used that, and that only comes in blue, so I ended up switching the accents on the outside to blue. Here I am adding the windows for the sunroom. The sunroom doesn't have a deck off of the back at this point, but I realized that you cannot put stairs on the back of that where there's a door right there, so I ended up adding a deck so you could walk through the sunroom. from the front of the house to the back of the house. And I really liked how that turned out. Those windows are also custom content. They're from Mutsky, and he's got an excellent set of custom content as well. That's the Brazil windows I was showing you before. Now I'm flipping through them trying to get them in there, but it's not working. I did get them on the back of the house, but they would not fit on the front of the house. You can see me thinking about it. There's the Brazil windows. Those are gorgeous. I'm changing all the accent colors to blue like I mentioned, adding the blue roof. And now I'm actually working on the inside of the rooms. So you can see me kind of trying to lay it out here, figure out how I'm going to do it. So the two middle sections is the bathroom and the oversized hallway that also ends up an office. I'm adding lights so I can see what I'm doing. The bathroom goes through a couple of changes. That's the Mutsky doors again. I absolutely love those doors. I ended up using a Praline Sims floor. It's her Parquet 8 floor, which I really very much like. It kind of has a rustic floor feel of like an older farmhouse. So I enjoyed using that a lot in this build because I feel it really added to the farmhouse feel. I end up narrowing this bathroom because it's about 2 tiles too big. So once I complete the build, it'll be 2 tiles narrower. I was trying to choose tubs. I ended up choosing the Attracta tub shower combination because I really wanted it so that the Sims could take both a shower and a bath. Here I am shrinking that bathroom like I had mentioned. I like to go through these builds and kind of select a wall color for everything. I find that the plain walls that looks like just plain drywall is really distracting when I'm trying to design it. I'll go through later and I'll update the walls and I'll add colors to them, etc. And some of these weren't even captured in the original build. This is me putting BB Move on. Going back in here so that I can move the objects. I was actually hoping that the BB Move On would allow me to place objects on top of surfaces in a better way, and it does not. So if you guys know a trick to do that, please let me know in the comments because that is so annoying. I want it just a little bit off to the left or a little bit off to the right, and it's just like, nope, not allowed, not happening. So you could see me sitting there trying to figure out how to place it. It just was not working for me. I'm adding some extra pieces here. I end up going with that half circle mat. Add some clutter. Now I'm moving on to the sunset bedroom. The picture for the only room that they really showed in this house, but the picture for the room actually had this red metal framed bed. And unlike The Sims 3, I can't just decide to update the color, which would be nice. I'm guessing they did that because I think it really lagged the game a lot when you had so many textures loaded, but it still was a really nice feature. I would have liked to be able to at least recolor, even if we can't retexture. But the bed that they had in the image had a patchwork quilt, so I was really looking for a bed that had a patchwork quilt, and I chose Savranka's forest hut bed. That is a collector's chest that I eventually choose. You see me here trying to figure out what I'm going to do to match the theme and the feel of it, but I do eventually go and I select a collector's chest. That's custom content as well. But I chose that because it kind of goes with the whole rustic country feel with that cow skin drawer or cabinet, whichever that is. I chose the red chair to kind of go with the red on the bed and pull in that color tie. And you see me here adding in a bookcase as well. I size up some images because I really want them to fit, and sometimes they're really small, but I really want them bigger. I didn't have an income limit on this. This was just purely build mode. This ended up being just over 100,000 simoleans though, but I really did like how it came out in the end. This is the office space I had mentioned on the landing. I kept fiddling with the desks because I wanted it so that the Sims could still come over here, sit down, and move without being impeded. And my concern was is with how narrow that space was, it would interfere with their ability to move around. So I removed that because I do want this space usable, not just looking pretty. So this is going to be uploaded, and you guys will be able to access this. I'll put a link to the upload for the lot build in the description as well. I really liked those paintings. I moved them over there because I just couldn't get it to work. There are only 4 and I really needed 5 to fill up the space. I put a chalkboard over here. I ended up liking I actually wish my office looked as nice as that office did. I go with this is what I call the sunrise bedroom. I go with a lot of shabby chic, country, worn out type looking items for this bedroom. I really kind of wanted it to look like these items have been lived in for a long time. I like that little hanging chair. I tried to put a chair in every bedroom. I wanted it so people could, or our Sims, could perhaps throw their clothes on there or sit down and read, etc. I wanted it to feel very homey. I'm just adding clutter at this point so that it looks like it's lived in and it doesn't look too plain. You can see me jumping around, going to different rooms as I come across different stuff. And there I am struggling with the surface placement of things again. I was looking for a toothbrush holder that I found in the previous room, and then I couldn't find it, and then I came across some pencils in a jar, and I immediately went over to the office, and then lo and behold, I found the toothbrush holder, and I went back and I still couldn't place it. I really like that clock in this build. I want one of those in my house. I was trying to go with more of a country feel, especially on the first floor. I tend to prefer kind of a high-end loft type of a feel. That's more my style, so I struggle to keep with a more traditional look and feel in this house. I think I did pretty well though. I really like it. It's a little more eclectic on the second floor, but the first floor definitely has more of a traditional feel. I ended up redoing the stairs a couple of times because the original blueprints, the bottom of the stairs kind of come out and wrap around the wall, which obviously I can't do in The Sims, but I tried, and it just didn't look right. So I just kind of built the wall straight across. Here I am looking around. I was kind of trying to get a look and a feel for what I've already built so that I was going to continue to do that. Same look and feel throughout the whole house. I really like those floors. Here I'm kind of looking at the blueprints and trying to figure out how I'm going to place everything. Going through the look and the feel again. And then I remembered I didn't put any decoration there. So this space here, this is going to be the kitchen. I really went through a couple of different options on this kitchen. Those are the cabinets I initially selected, but they're not my final selection. I really liked them, but they didn't match the images from the blueprint. So I ended up selecting the Shino KCR's Clive's cabinet because they did match. The blueprint originally had this little breakfast bar that had kind of a medium blue beadboard for the breakfast bar, but I ended up going just with the Clive breakfast bar instead because I couldn't find anything that matched. Here I'm adding a half wall to separate the living and the dining kitchen area. They have steps going down. I just have no idea how to step down into a basement. So if you guys know how to do that and still have it functional for your Sims, please let me know. I'd love to know how to do that. Here I am thinking about what I've put in. I'm messing around with the appliances. The picture that they had used stainless steel appliances. I decided to kind of put the refrigerator in its own little nook, so to speak. And this is me going with the Clive counters. The Clive counters matched what was in the pictures the best. Still not quite there, but they did okay. Those windows are not the final windows either. I changed those out later on in the build. This is me looking for those blue cabinets I had mentioned before for the breakfast bar. Here I am adding some of the appliances as well. Because this is a custom content cabinet, the way that they were built, it wouldn't allow me to place a dishwasher, so I used that freestanding dishwasher that came with the outdoor expansion, and I was able to apply that to the cabinets. Here I am just adding clutter for that lived-in look. I absolutely love that pot rack. I want one of those in my house. Here I am switching out the windows like I previously mentioned. The original windows had this double hung 4-pane window, and I just couldn't find anything that really fit with the rest of the house, so I ended up going with these instead. So it deviated a little, but I felt that that looked closer. And here I changed around how the dining room was set up. I originally went with kind of a bright color, lofty type feel where it mismatches, and it's got like a rough cut wooden table with a bunch of miscellaneous colored chairs. And then I realized that I'm going still with that loft, and I decided to go with a more traditional look. Not typically my style, but I do like how it came out. I think it looked good, despite the fact that it's not my style. And here I am repositioning things so everything fits in there nicely. That little spot over there that we're looking at, I'm trying to look for like a country style hutch to put in there with like dishes or decorations. And I end up kind of building one custom using cabinets in the walls and shelves and whatnot. So I like the way it came out. I ended up selecting these cubby cabinets that I put up top and have these cabinets underneath them, directly underneath them, that have wine bottles in them. And then I'm able to decorate the cubby cabinets, which I thought came out really well. There's a little cubby cabinets. I end up switching their position, as you can see. I struggled a little bit to get those correct. They just would not working with me, but I got them in there. This is some clutter. These are all custom contents. This is what I was talking about before when I had mentioned that the clutter that I had selected for this will end up being in packages. I use some of it. If I am missing any clutter, I apologize. I tried to find everything I used, but I cannot guarantee that I found everything in my list of custom content, but I did try. I really like those canister sets that I have on there. I think they're cute. That's actually a little trash thing where you saw that curtain hanging in the midair. I just couldn't get it to work with the current set. This is our entranceway. I love that wallpaper. I think it is just fantastic. And so I did everything I could to be able to utilize that in the entryway because I feel it's really too busy for a big room unless you're using it on a feature wall. But for an entranceway where you're not going to spend a lot of time, I felt that it was a great space. And here I am looking for rugs that'll actually match that. I was trying to pull in the lime greenish yellow color, but I was struggling to find a plain carpet because I felt that since the walls were so busy, I really needed to go with a plain carpet. I ended up just selecting that beaded carpet, or not beaded, braided carpet right there. That middle space will end up being the second master bath, which is available and open in that little hallway. So it is kind of sort of just a first floor bathroom, but it's also right next to the master bedroom, so I will call it the master bath. Right now I'm trying to figure out a shower to put in here. I really wanted to put in a shower, but it didn't really have a lot of space, so at least not for the shower that I was looking for. So I ended up selecting this quarter circle shower that you see right there, which I did like that in the end. I felt that looked really nice. This is custom content as well. It's kind of sort of like this built-in wardrobe. I really like that piece because I feel it's really handy where you kind of want to hide your wardrobe. You don't really want it to be out and about like perhaps a dresser set or something. That's me putting the chair in there. I changed that chair out because it kind of peeks through the wall. Here I'm arguing with the interface for a carpet. I pick a very plain carpet since we have a lot of stripes on the bed and pops of color in lots of different places. I didn't spend a lot of time in the master bedroom. I just added some clutter and then I moved right on. This final build may have some additional wall colors and whatnot that I select, but I'll be using any changes that I add to this. I will be using the Sims standard content. Here I am adding some window coverings and trying to adjust windows to fit. I'm working on the living room in this space. I struggled with the living room a little bit. That's a plastic box, corner fireplace, which I absolutely love because you can't really utilize corner spaces a whole heck of a lot. So I find it awesome that he had a corner fireplace. So I used this living room set, which I really like because it's got some floral, it's got some blues, and it's just plain elsewhere. So it's not overwhelmingly girly, but it still feels like it's got like a feminine country touch. And I really wanted to add like a more masculine brown leather armchair, but I couldn't find one that the texture matched the high quality textures for the couch set. So I ended up going with some kind of a textured, like, poof beanbag chair thing. And I do like it in the end, but I'm gonna have to start looking for some content that where I've got some just classic, well-designed leather chairs. But I did struggle with the living room a little bit looking for the appropriate style of seating. I ended up going with this specific blue couch that you see right now. I ended up sticking with that. I absolutely love that armoire behind that couch because it's got that like rustic feel that goes really well in a loft or in a country or in a shabby chic. It's very flexible and it's got a lot of different colors into it, so it'll blend in with almost everything. Here I am trying to decorate behind the fireplace. Since it's a corner and it's a specific height, I was struggling to find artwork that'll fit on the wall behind it and not look weird. But I did select those two, which are just some recolors of the basic artwork that's provided. And here I am adding some clutter. So this is the entranceway, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I'm going to get these pieces on there, and then I realize, oh yeah, I have move objects on. I can just put them right up in there. I end up selecting this metal rack, which you'll see, which I thought was pretty cool. And here I'm decorating the master bathroom and a little bit on the master bedroom. That wall definitely doesn't stay the same. I end up going with the white tile halfway up and the white wall. I wish there was a way to just paint the wall and then add the tile on top of it, because I would have really liked that to be perhaps like a bright red color or a black color with white tile. Just kind of brighten it up because it's kind of very, very plain. It doesn't have a lot of color on it. That's a Praline Sims sheepskin rug that you saw me drop into the living room. I love those rugs. They're some of my favorites. That's a Numbers Woman shabby chic bench that you see me moving around in there. She's another one that I like her mods a lot, and I use them all the time. Here's me talking about, as I was talking before about the deck. I go with those mosaic style tiles, which I really like, and I keep those in the sunroom because I end up using that teal that's in the tiles and the brown. So it ends up bringing it all together really nicely. I'm very happy with that. And I say that a lot, but I was really happy with this build. I have a couple other ones I'm going to be uploading. I did get the City Living expansion, and so I did redo some apartments, and I think that I'm going to do a voiceover on the one that I recorded and upload that as well. Probably not this week, maybe next week. I actually have a wedding to go to in New Orleans this weekend, so I will not even be able to keep track of my upload or anything. So this will be a fun weekend for me, and I'll be having a birthday on Monday, so I'm spending my Monday birthday in New Orleans exploring the city. I have never been there, so it's on my bucket list. I want to go see the cemetery. I want to go see a bunch of stuff. I'm very excited because I get to explore New Orleans when it's not Mardi Gras, so it won't be a lot of people, and I can just kind of take my time and not feel rushed. So here's the pictures. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear any thoughts. If you have any tips or tricks that you want to share with me, I'd love to hear those as well. I have never done a recording before, and excuse me if I sound disinterested or anything. I just don't have the same energy and enthusiasm that some of the other simmers seem to have. But I'm really pleased with how this came out. I think it looks great. I'd love to live here myself. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Happy simming!